What's up, everybody? It's LG Doucette here. Welcome to the Milk Road Degen podcast, the twice weekly podcast where 99% of the tokens will go to zero, but you won't know which ones for another 2 years. Today's guest is Nick Plays Crypto. This is one of the hardest working guys in the game. Late in 2024, while I was in the AI trenches, the name that I would see show up all the time as somebody buying all these and trading all these tokens was this dude. And I always wondered who the hell this guy was. At the time, in my opinion, he was a faceless entity. I thought maybe he was a bot, but now he's actually fully doxxed and he's on the show. Today, we're going to talk about how he approaches AI tokens, how he picks the wrong and right ones, why he specializes in AI, despite maybe not having a background in AI, and why he chooses to, late at night after all the children have gone to sleep, stream for Twitter's delight, despite working full-time and having all these kids. Before we start, please support the show. YouTube listeners, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, please. Anything like that will be a huge help. And for our podcast listeners, a 5-star rating always helps. It means the world to us. We're trying to grow this thing and want more people to hear it, and those ratings mean a lot. And today's episode is brought to you by Fun Token, powering the next wave of Web3 gaming and decentralized innovation. Woo, long intro. Nick, what is going on, man?
Hey, LG, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Dude, it's I can't believe I'm actually talking to you, man. You have no idea. Like in the week after Christmas last year, okay, my in-laws had left. Finally have a bit of spare time in the evenings after the kids go to sleep. And I log on and we got these AI virtuals runners coming up every night. We're looking for the dev, and the freaking wallet that shows up every time is nickplayscrypto.eth. I think that's what it was. I was using OXPPL to track all these things, and you're always there, man. You're always like minutes ahead of me. Just Nick's in it. Shit, I gotta buy it.
Yes.
What the hell? I can't believe we're actually chatting. I thought,
yeah, man.
Like a total.
Well, you know what? Those were some fun times, and they've continued to be fun. We've had some up and downs since, those days, and it feels like 10 years ago, but really it was just 9-10 months ago. So but the fundamentals of how to do this type of stuff have not changed very much, and we learn a lot, but at the same time you're just applying a lot of the same rules that allow you to find these things early on. So
dude, I need to know, because famously in my community Discord when first met, like January 2nd, I was like, guys, I think we're near an AI top. I'm selling some shit. Did you get out before that?
Oh man,
did you get out with something before that?
I did with something.
I didn't sell it all. I just so everybody knows, I didn't like full nuke anything. I took some morsels.
I did with some stuff, but I got better that cycle than I ever had been. I was traditionally always one of those people that would just do the full ride up and down. But I did a little bit better, and that's kind of one of the goals, is you're never going to be able to call the top perfectly. So you can get better at it. You could take a little more off the table, and that's something you should progressively try to challenge yourself to do better and better every time, is to shave a little off, better and better.
Are you shaving anything right now?
Not my face.
No.
No. You know what? Yes. And it's not like, it's different, because you're into a lot of tokens and you're invested in a lot of decent things. So you have to look at each thing individually, and you're like, okay, this is up 5-10x in the past month. It may be time, and then you're also like, this, once you learn, you're like, this has more potential, so I'm not going to take any off the table with that yet. It's really, I don't know. The game is a little bit different than it used to be. You might have like a macro top where you're like, okay, it's time to sell everything. And you might have like little micro tops where you're like, okay, this one's probably, out of steam. Let's call it quits on that one. Did good. Maybe you save a little bit. Very rarely do I just sell everything, but you get better at knowing which ones are good and how much potential they have, how much upside they have. So it's a lot more grainy, I guess, depending on the token than it is, just selling everything like it used to be 21. But yeah, no, go ahead, LG. Sorry.
Nick, why AI? Because the thing is like there's a million things. You're talking about macro and selling at the right time and all this kind of shit, but like, why are you in AI? You've only had your Twitter account since December 2023, so clearly something compelled you. It sounds like you're somebody who's been in crypto for a while, but something compelled you to kind of join the trend or join the fray, create an identity. And from what I've seen, at least the time I've been tracking you, it's been largely AI. So like, what's the thesis on AI? Why'd you come and do that?
There's a lot of reasons actually, but AI, what I tell people a lot, and I feel like some people kind of understand this and some don't, but AI in my eyes is like the first time there's been something outside of crypto that has essentially been pushing crypto itself forward. Before that, it was like crypto was like the most advanced emerging technology, essentially. So, it was just finding different ways of doing cool things in crypto itself. Like, you saw Uniswap come out, you saw NFTs and all that type of stuff. But now that AI is out, it's like, oh, there's this other hugely emerging technology that is creating this undercurrent that is pushing crypto itself forward too, which is not just inherent to crypto, it's outside of crypto, but it happens to merge well with it. So I was like, that's kind of cool, because what else was doing that? There wasn't really anything pushing it forward to that degree before that. I mean, some people could argue RWAs, but really that was inherent to crypto, just creating, tokenized assets. But now AI, that's pretty new comparatively. And there's some other things too with that. But yes, that's kind of why I was like, this is neat.
Did you know much about AI before?
Not really. I had experimented with it. I used Midjourney and stuff like that, and I had done a fair bit of research and been using it, but it was advancing so quickly, AI, that you don't really, to get into it and learn about it, you don't really have to know that much about it, because it's all going to be different in a year anyways. I mean, you kind of got to learn the basics and just kind of stay on top of things and try to learn the fundamental concepts. But no, I really didn't know that much about it before, to be honest.
So how do you? So one of the things that I really appreciate about you, Nick, is that you're able to really like break down things that I find are complicated. And that's why I was asking if you had a background and I don't know, anything like that. Because for me, one of my biggest struggles in crypto, and AI has actually been helpful for this, because sometimes I see like a light paper and I just copy paste into chat and I'm like, please explain this to me like I'm 5 years old. And I find that that's like I use AI to help explain AI to myself.
Right.
A little trick for anybody there, but I find that like you're able to kind of parse through all these AI projects so quickly and identify potential runners and what actually excites you. So that's how do you do that? You know what I mean? Like I have my trick, but even then sometimes I read the summaries and I'm like, man, I just don't process some of this technical stuff. Like my brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, a lot of it has to do with just repeated exposure. So you kind of see, okay, this was tried, this concept was tried. It wasn't, doing good. And, back when you might have thought that was such a great idea, then you kind of investigated why it didn't do good. And you're like, okay, now I know how lofty of a goal that was to begin with. And then, once you're, something you're into just crashes and fails, reality sets in, and you kind of have to examine the concept from a very sober and objective point of view. You're like, oh, well, that makes sense, why that didn't necessarily work. And then you might see the same concept pop up again. And you're like, well, I kind of understand how lofty of a goal that actually is now. What's different about this idea? And you're like, maybe like there's somebody behind, like from Google behind it or something, or Microsoft, like maybe that will make it do good. And then you go and look at the team and you're like, no, this is just like two other unknown guys. So you're kind of sitting there like, I already know this won't do good, but other people who are seeing this for the first time, I get it. They think it's a great idea and they're not wrong, but I kind of already know like how how hard that would be to realistically achieve. So, you know, it's just a constant exposure to this type of stuff. So,
you know, somebody who worked in marketing for a long time, I can definitely appreciate people that fluff up their projects. Like sometimes you see some of these AI projects and it's like, you know, working with Amazon, but they're actually just using like Amazon cloud service. You know, it's just like, like, yes, we are working with Amazon, but Amazon doesn't know that. You know,
see that
Amazon's just
type of stuff.
selling us their license, right?
Right.
So what, like, you got big into virtuals.
Yes.
Tell me about that journey, man. Like, what drew you in there? Because I was in there day one, and I was like, man, this website looks like shit. But there's something here.
Right.
What did you like about it?
I liked the fact that it was very similar to the meme coin style platforms that were very popular at the time. You had like Pump Fun, and they would launch the tokens on like a bonding curve. But those were just essentially memes, and those are very hard to evaluate what will do well. A lot of it's based on a certain theme or a concept, pop culture, you know, something that happened in the news. And I'm like, I'm not really interested in that type of stuff, you know, a certain animal or whatever. And then a lot of it was cabal based, you know, something might just pump and you're like, why the hell is that even doing good? You know, like it doesn't make, and it just breaks all these like theories you might have had about how it all works. But then kind of AI or virtuals came on the scene and they were doing like similar concept of how to launch the tokens, but it was more based on an underlying technology, which you could do more of a fundamental analysis of the perspective of the token at that point, because you're like, well, you know, is the team good or not? Oh, like this token launched and these guys already had like a small AI startup company. You know, these other ones don't have that, right? So they must have some expertise in this field that, you know, these other people just launched it and they're like trying to figure out all this stuff from scratch. So there's more ways to like fundamentally analyze what was going on behind the token, which I liked that. Yeah.
What kind of projects did you buy right off the bat in virtuals?
Well, when it first came out, we really didn't know much. There was, and you were there, LG, but yeah, that initial site was trash. But there was, the nice thing about it was there's only a few hundred on there, right? So you could kind of like, I mean, Pump Fun in those days, you were getting like thousands of launches a day. So I was like, okay, if I just keep looking at this list, I could kind of see like why certain ones are doing good, what's doing good. You know, there's these like inference numbers or something like that, like how many times somebody had chatted with the agent, and we were, you know, we were like, maybe that there's like you could upload in those days like knowledge to the agent, like, and then people could vote on whether it like goes through. There was like it was a lot different back in those days, but you know, you were able to kind of look at all those things. It was mostly like waifus and husbandos or something like that. I mean, there's a few there's a few nuggets in there that where you were like, oh, okay, like this is different, you know. So just because there wasn't that many, you could kind of like pick out some stuff that was different.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, what about virtuals right now? Because I think that's like one of the biggest questions is, you know, we went through the first boom,
right?
There's a lot of crap, a lot of vaporware, which is like pump.fun. You had Genesis come along, which revived the whole platform. Great. And now, you know, they revamped the points. They launched, what's it called? The protocol software, ACP.
Yeah, ACP. Yeah.
ACP kind of slow and a little clunky to use. What's the state of virtuals? Because I actually saw the last couple of days that the token's starting to move. And I saw one trader I follow predict that it's going to $3 to $5 in the next couple of weeks, which is like astonishing to me, which would be like shocking to me. Where are we at with the virtuals? Because to me, virtuals has been like the face of AI. And we'll talk about Solana stuff in a minute. I want to get your opinion there. But virtuals has been like the clear like AI crypto, you know, renaissance has been virtuals.
Yes. I think virtuals is still probably going to do pretty good. but it's there's a lot of tokens that have launched on virtuals now these days. So um, it's almost more about, and we've seen a lot of tokens do good regardless of the virtuals token itself doing good. So, if virtuals itself does good, that really kind of, in my eyes, depends on whether we're in like a true alt season or not, with like the Bitcoin dominance falling, which I think it is a little bit. That might explain the price. If the virtuals token itself, since every agent is paired with the virtuals token, if that goes up, it tends to bring everything up along with it, right? But there's so much stuff in there. And the virtuals ecosystem has attracted so many talented devs and teams that a lot of it now is about sifting through a lot of that stuff and trying to find the stuff with potential within the virtuals ecosystem. And there's a lot of stuff like that. But you have to just, it's once again, repeated exposure, exploring, talking and connecting with people, finding out what's good and what has potential, why other things are doing good, etc. And then finding those particular tokens. That's really
What's going on with Vader?
Vader has pivoted into robotics. So that's Vader. Vader, he's
You know
pivoted.
the guy? You
I
spoken
do
to
know
him?
Vader. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
do.
know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do know Vader pretty well. Vader's very dedicated dev. And a lot of his token value was based around the fact that he was getting those points from the virtuals team. And for those who don't know, if you invested in certain tokens, virtuals would give you points if you staked the tokens, and then depending on how many points you had, you could invest in subsequent launches that would take place. And Vader had a special deal with the virtuals team that said he gets like more than the other tokens, right? But Vader did not like the fact that his token's value was largely based on that system, because then you kind of have to live or die by how that system does.
Didn't he come up with that system though? Didn't he help engineer that
He kind of
system?
developed the early rules or concept of it. That's why he got the deal to begin with, because they kind of took it from him. I wasn't very happy about that actually. But so they said, okay, we kind of stole this tech from you, so you can have 5% of the daily points to your stakers. So and that was fine for a while, right? But I think Vader kind of realized, like, okay, I gotta have like something outside of this that is a direction I want to go into. And I think the robotics idea is good. It remains to be seen. Will he make that into something? How what will that look like in 6 months? No one really knows, but I do know that Vader is very dedicated and he's very smart, and he's very tenacious. So we'll see what happens. If anybody can do it, Vader can. I'll tell you that. So
Web3 gaming is booming, and one token is powering the next wave, Fun. With 100K holders worldwide, Fun is already fueling engagement across AI tools, rewards, and 40 plus upcoming games in 2025, audited by CertiK with an AA Skynet score and listed on Binance, HDX, and Poloniex. Fun is built on trust and adoption. Now, with the launch of Fun 100X Foundation, 10 million is going back to the community, funding DAOs, dApps, and a governance for the future of decentralized gaming. So discover how Fun is shaping Web3 at milkroad.com/fun. Can I do something kind of cheeky? Because I actually, while we were talking, I went back to OXPPL, which is a platform that I used to track like whales and wallets and stuff like that. Sure. Can I pull up your like Vader trading sheet?
Sure.
Are you?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is some good shit right here. Hold on. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Here we go. So this is a great platform. Anybody wants to use it. Here we go. This basically shows you, like, if you want to track a certain wallet, it'll show you their like P&L on like certain tokens. So apparently your P&L on Vader is $291,000. Is that right? Can you and I don't even know how to count the amount of transactions that there are here. So please explain to me. So this is like I'm more curious as a trader
Yeah.
part because you're giving us what I like, Nick, is that you're giving me like a very nonchalant like vibe about how you approach things. You're like, this
Yeah.
tech is good, it's whatever, but you have done like clearly you've traded this token at least 100 times from looking at this. How do you trade things? Like how, are you buying like constantly on the way up, selling constantly on the way down? Like what do you do?
A lot of it's intuition. I know like me and Vader talk a fair bit, not like every day, but once a month maybe. And, but he doesn't necessarily, give me enough information he doesn't want anybody like insider trading his token, So what I would do basically is I would look at where it's at, how long it's hung out in that price range. And then, I would take like an overall snapshot of the ecosystem of the market, and I would say, okay, hasn't necessarily jumped up farther, has it run out of steam or, and not all, I've lost money on it too, plenty of times, but,
these aren't all clean trades. Yeah, this is
they were
wild.
clean.
Dude, you're trading like 10 times in a single day in some cases.
Yeah, I probably was, and I owned a lot of it too because I got into it extremely early. That's probably where the bulk of that.
You're on the day. I'm assuming that this is maybe before it, because this would only track back to when it bonded. Which would have been November 1st.
I bought it before it bonded.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have that
at 13,000 market cap. So that's probably where the bulk.
How did you find that? What were you doing?
I saw it pop up.
What were you doing before virtuals arrived? Like, what was your daily crypto shit you were looking at that you saw Vader pop up at 13? Like, what else were you looking at? Like,
I was not looking at that much. Once I was almost ready to quit crypto before virtual came.
Before making 300 grand on Vader.
I was almost ready to call it.
Dude, you just described that meme where the guy is like digging, digging, and then the one guy's turning away just before the diamonds. Like that's totally what you just described. I was this close to quitting, man.
I was like, this shit. I did not expect virtuals to take off like that, but luckily by the time it started to, I had already kind of gotten my fingers on the pulse of the ecosystem to a degree. I knew like, oh, this is new. We haven't seen this yet. Put $1,000 into it. You know what I mean? So yeah. And then, but yeah, I saw Vader come up and I knew who Vader Research was because he had been in crypto gaming and stuff like that before. And I had never talked to him before, but I knew he was, considered a relatively smart fellow. And, I looked at his token and I saw this was one of the first times I was like, oh shit, the dev bought the developer of this token, which was Vader Research. He bought 38% of the supply himself. And I was like, well, that usually would mean that somebody plans to do something with that token, right? Not only, it's like if you start a small company and instead of like, oh, I only own 1 or 2% of my company, and the person's like, no, I own 40% of my company, you're like, oh, well, this guy probably plans to make his 40% of his company worth a lot more money, and that tells me like this person's going to be dedicated to that project because they got some skin in the game, and it's much more worth it for them to make the thing do good than if they only owned 1%. So that was one of the first times I saw that, and I was like, this guy's also a KOL, key opinion leader in crypto. So I was like, boom, I just bought a bunch of it, and I think I owned like 3 or 4% of it at one point. And yeah.
That's wild. That is wild. Yeah. Were you in other times in crypto pre AI? Did you have like 300K P&Ls on $8 million?
Not that much
tokens. Yeah, is
that not that much? Like no, I had done good on certain things before, but not to that level. And I gave a lot of it back. I mean, I put a lot into Bitcoin, but I also gave a lot of it back. And I had like a couple Bitcoin that I like have stashed away, and I was like, I'll never touch that. And like, here's my play money. And like literally before virtuals came on the scene, I was like pretty much out of my play money. I was like, I made a bunch of bad, bad
Like
trades.
What would you, please? We need, if we're going to share the 300K P&Ls, we got to, I need to know what the 50K losses are or whatever.
Man. There's a lot of, it was just a lot of being on the wrong chains. And I was really like ZK Sync. I was really on that a lot. And I was like, this is like the next tech, and like a lot of stuff.
The shit out of that. I farmed the shit out of
I
that.
know.
And then I sold it when the token launched. I was like,
I know. You know what? What I sold was my ZK Sync tokens. I think I had like $5,000 left of it, and I sold them all, and that's what I took and went into virtuals.
All right, there you go.
That $5,000 and made it into like 100, 200x or whatever the hell it was. So yeah, that's basically what, at one point I was like, got to cut ties with this bag, and I just went all in on virtuals. I think virtuals was under 10 cents when I bought it that time. Yeah.
What are you most bullish on right now? Like in terms of AI stuff? And outside of virtuals, like we've talked about the virtuals.
Outside of virtuals,
do you track any of the other stuff? Because even in this portfolio thing, I don't see much out.
I do. A lot of Creator Bid. I have a good bag of that. There's other projects too. I think the OpenServe is another one. It's kind of relatively obscure, but it's at like 50 million market cap. I'd have to check my watch list, dude. I'm in so much stuff right now. A lot of it's virtuals though, because like, a lot of the AI stuff that I think is going to do good is in virtuals. And the reason is they just launched on virtuals, but beyond that, they don't really have that much to do with virtuals. They're just a project that used virtuals as a launch pad for more exposure to people. So, but yes, there's other stuff I'm in. I'd have to go through some of my wallets and like look, I got all this stuff on like deck screener watch lists, and I usually just hold on to it, and if I see something spike up, I'm like, okay, let's go see how much of that I have. Okay, it's at an all-time high today. Let's sell half. It's like, it's way more casual trading than it used to be. I'm not like as locked in that hard, but I do still do a lot of trenching, to be honest, because
this is the most contrarian like trading strategy that we've had on the show thus far, man. We have all these KOLs, with like 300,000 followers, and they're like, I've just consolidated everything into like 5 positions. Like I just have hype and soul and like this 1 or 2 random alt or meme coin. And fucking Nick's coming in and being like, listen, man, that 300K on Vader, that's been spread out across 50 different tokens. I don't even know what they are.
Yeah. But a lot of this LG too is like, I talk to the developers of a lot of these, that's really what I've spent a lot of time doing. So I know
why do you talk to them? Why do you talk? Like you want to talk to them? Like
I want to talk to them. I want to know like what they're doing, what the project's like. I can help them a lot. A lot of times I facilitate connections between them and other projects, because I'm like, well, you guys do this and this project does this. Why don't you guys have this data? They need that type of data. Why don't you guys work together a little bit? And, so I always kind of know like, whether a team is active and if they're pursuing something from a unique angle, so that's why if I don't hear from the team, or if I could tell the team isn't active for some reason, that's when I get rid of the bag. But if the team's active and they're like pursuing it and they're serious, then I'm like, I could hold this for a little while. Will I sell some? If it spikes up, 3x in a week, sure, I'll let a little off. But that's why I'm comfortable holding so many different things, because I'm like, I know whether it's active or not, and a lot of other people don't know that type of stuff.
Dude, that's been one of the best trades since the AI boom, and since like everything kind of came back in April, was to find teams that are still doing something, and where the token is just in this long, slow nothing. They're working, they're deving, and then just getting in.
I made a lot of money doing that, because I was still talking to a lot of these teams, and I was like, they're still at it. You know what I mean? And like no
And
one knows.
they just pick up the phone. They're like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll tell you everything I'm doing. Like, how does that work?
Telegram a lot of times, in the Discord a lot of times. You know, I'll just be like, hey guys, how's it going? You guys need anything from me? And they're like, either no, you know, we're doing good, or they're like, yeah, you know, do you know this team? And I'm like, yeah, I know them. You know, can you? So I have like 50 group chats that I started between, you know, one team and another team, and then like I'll see them chatting and they keep me in there. I don't know if like a witness, you know,
network equals net worth.
It does.
That's the title of the episode. Boom, right there.
The more you can get out and start.
Nick Worth. Nick work equals Nick Worth.
Right. Yeah, no, the more you can
be like Nick, harass the devs, make them tell you what to do, and then just tell them about somebody else you can introduce them to.
Yeah, that's definitely a good practice though.
Are you a networker in real life? Like, are you a master connector? Like, you host these parties?
No, I'm not actually.
Each other.
What is that? Yeah. None of the stuff in real life really interests me that much. You know, like I could. My dad's like that. I get it from my dad. Okay, but he does it for like his like real life fun stuff. You know.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more like, you know, this is fun for me, this type of stuff. So I saw that.
Yeah, what's going on here? What is happening?
Lock your focus.
There we go. Put the pen in front of it. Yeah, you got to do the pen. Right. All right. Well, I guess you're like you're cosplaying as a networker in AI crypto.
I am
making huge bags on it. I like that. That's how we'll define you. You know, that's what we're gonna say.
There you go. I like
Dude,
it.
why does AI suck on Solana? What happened? Solana, what happened to all that shit, man?
Solana's, you know, got a culture of being very much you know, people don't hold stuff very long over there. I have some theories as to why that is. It's almost like it's too easy to just like jeet your entire bags, you know, like you can go on Jupiter and just be like, okay, swap everything in this wallet into this one thing, and you can do it like in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? But on Ethereum or Base, that's kind of hard to do. You gotta accept each transaction. You gotta like sign for it. You know, it's not. You know, that could be it, but I feel like it's a cultural thing too. You know, people just, there's so much shit that launches there every single day, tens of thousands of coins, and everyone's chasing the next pump. You know, and it's very meme coin based. Whereas on Base or some of these other layer twos, it's like you're investing in like a real company or a real team. So you don't have that same culture as much. You still do, but you know, it's crypto.
And do you think that seeps into like how developers choose the chain as well?
I think it does. Absolutely.
Or it did. I mean, there's not many, but you know, what about Caesar? Did you check out Caesar that launched a couple weeks ago? Like that seems like I used it for a little bit. I was like, this is pretty fucking good. Yeah. Why would they launch on Solana? Why would they do like, they did a pre-sale, so they didn't do like pump fund. So it was a little bit more fair.
Yeah.
But like, why would they?
I don't know.
Clear. There's Base. You'll get the support from Coinbase. You'll get the listing eventually. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, the one thing is, Solana is considered an American chain, so there could be like, the founder of Solana is American. I
mean, so is the Base guy. So is Coinbase.
Coinbase is American too, but Ethereum is not.
Oh, it's like more international.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So there could be something there. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it. I would have launched on Base too, but yeah.
It seems odd. Yeah, it's something where I just thought that was very bizarre to launch on like a chain. And I totally agree with you. So I kind of fed you the question too, as I wanted to hear you say it, is that it's just like things just move too quickly on Solana, which is good for meme coins, but terrible for like real projects in a sense, right?
Right. I wouldn't have made that decision. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Nick, are we we're almost at the end of our time here. Are we at the end of cycles in crypto? I ask everybody this, and obviously we talked about AI, but in your opinion, you've been around for a little while, been around the block, been for a couple of cycles. Is this the end of cycles from what you've seen?
I think it's going to be a lot different going forward. I think you'll still have maybe some cycles here or there, but if everyone's noticed, almost everything these days is based on the macro financial policies that get passed, the Federal Reserve, the rate cuts, the quantitative easing, and then you have this massive undercurrent right now of like stable coin adoption. So I don't know if you're going to see like these like long sustained dark winters like you did from like 2018 to 2019 to like halfway through 2020. Don't think you're going to see that type of stuff anymore. So you're going to have your peaks and your valleys, but I don't think it's going to be as the amplitude of each one is not going to be as high as it once was.
Right.
Yeah, that's my take at least.
No, that's good. Yeah. That's the general take. So we're going to add that.
Right.
Add that to the list to corroborate everything. Oh, I forgot to ask you. Give us like 5 AI tokens that you're like most stoked on right now. Because I was looking at your portfolio on this list, and you have like 1,000. But I know you said you have to go look, but
yes.
without looking, I
Okay.
find that like recall for me in crypto, like I've spent hours like looking at all these things, and then I leave the computer and I do something else. There's a couple things that trickle back into my mind that I'm like, clearly has stickiness because I'm thinking about it once I'm on the computer. For you, like, don't even look at your shit. Just tell me, like, give me like 3 or 4 that you're like, that's
probably the one that I'm most
good.
bullish on right
small
now.
Small caps. Don't say virtuals. I want small caps.
I'm not saying, I won't. Yeah. Small caps for sure. Wire is one because that's like a stable coin play.
Is that the one where they're like buying the bank or whatever? They're working with the bank.
They are, They are, Wire is probably number 1. I like Meta Inside. I think that's another one. They're doing like AI automatic building of smart contracts and stuff like that.
That thing's a juicy price right now, man. That thing's like
it is
like 4 million.
It is.
That's
I
like
know.
A nice thing. Ex-tech lead of Coinbase on board.
LG knows. Yeah.
You talk to these guys? You call them?
Yeah. I'm
Telegram?
going to do a live stream with them soon. I think.
You Telegram with Andrew?
No, not Andrew. Not Andrew. Okay. But the head guy, Facile, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So they're good. I like Retake TV, which is outside of the virtuals ecosystem. They're like a streaming platform. I've been streaming to their platform. When you stream to them, they like create a token for you, and that token basically people trade it while you stream. I made like $1,000 just on the fees from people trading the token while I stream. So that's cool. What else? Sploot. Jonah. I'm bullish on Jonah as a founder. I think he's got good ideas.
That guy works. Yeah.
Yeah. Sploot, I think, will do well if Jonah can nail that whole thing. And then what else? I would have to say Vader. Vader's only 8 mil.
For the robotics play.
Yeah, the robotics play. Yeah, for sure. I think it's underrated, and I think people are fading it. But if you go look at some of the stuff he's doing, it's pretty awesome. And I expect, knowing how Vader is, I expect it to do good over time. He's not going to give up. So, yeah.
I like that. Okay, yeah. Nick's picks. You have a name that can just rhyme with so many things. So you pair it with so many things, Okay, one thing we do at the end of every show, Nick, is we do a quick like hot seat kind of thing. So I ask you questions, and there's no ums or ahs. You just literally tell me the first thing comes to mind. Okay,
got it.
Okay, your biggest risk that paid off. Maybe we already know.
Virtuals.
Biggest risk that got wrecked. I feel like this is the same questions I already asked you.
Virtuals.
Okay. Best airdrop.
Uniswap.
Oh, so good. Worst airdrop.
ZKC.
Okay. Token we should all be buying. You just gave us 5 of them.
Wire.
It could be Wire. Okay. Token that's way overhyped.
Oh shit.
It won't be.
I don't know.
It won't be considered mean. If you say it.
An overhyped one. Nothing's really that overhyped right now. It's pretty.
Solana,
since you Solana. Yeah, if I had to say,
the American chain. Okay. Your favorite influencer?
Probably LG. I'm gonna go with you.
No, because bullshit. No, you can't say that.
My favorite influencer. So many. Let's just go with Goon. I like Goon.
Okay. Smartest person you know?
Probably Vader.
Shit. Yeah. Okay. And last one. The last meal before you die.
Double cheeseburger with bacon.
From?
Just give me a Baconator from Wendy's and I'll be happy.
You can buy so many Baconators with your Vader profits, man.
I know.
So many fucking Baconators.
I'm gonna die of a heart attack in a couple of years, but you know what? Fuck it.
Nick, you're awesome, man. Thank you for
Thanks,
giving us a bit of your time. And guys, Nick is a great follow. He's got a great Discord community as well, where people trade a lot of insight, and he keeps you updated on all this stuff. And you catch his streams on X. Nick, pleasure, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you, guys. Feel free to reach out anytime you want. Follow me on X. Thanks again, LG. Let's do it again soon, buddy.
Want updates from the trenches alongside the tokens we're trading? Sub to our channel, then join the Milk Road Degen and Degen Pro newsletters. This show's for educational purposes only. Nothing we say is financial advice. Investing is risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.